Yeah, hi everyone. So let's start with our session today. So today we're gonna discuss about Titanic dataset. So I have imported some libraries like Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, and Seaborn that we have discussed on the last class. So this is our dataset Titanic. Okay, so I have uploaded in the Google Drive, so you can download from over there. And when you try to execute this dataset, then just you have to make sure this dataset and the Python notebook you are using should be on the same directory, or else you have to provide the whole path. So here I have just used pandas library. Okay, so pd.read.csv, and here you have to mention the csv file. Okay, so if your csv file is not in the same directory, then you have to pass the whole path. Okay, so we know that this df.head, so Titanic data frame df, I have mentioned that name as a variable. So if I execute this one, so I can get the whole data set from here. So passenger ID, survived, P class, name, sex, age, SIV, barge, ticket, fare, cabin, embarked. Okay, so all these labels has different meaning. Okay, so passenger ID is basically the ID of passenger, and survived means 0 or 1. Okay, so if 0 is so survived is basically 0 or 1. Okay, so if it is 0, it means that the passenger has not been survived. If it is 1, it means that the passenger is survived. Okay, similarly there is a class, so 1, 2, 3 different classes there. So based on which class, so first class ticket, second class ticket is something like that. Name, sex, age, and many things are there. So ticket price, fare, cabin, embarked, something like that. Okay, so if I check the shape, we know dot shape method, right? So here we have 891 rows, okay, and 12 columns. Okay, so this is our data set. So I have imported from Titanic dataset. Okay, so so we have to make sure that the dataset should be in the same directory. Okay, so this is my Python notebook, and this is my CSV file. Okay, I will upload this dataset in the drive. Okay, so you can download from there later and practice it. So next I have done over here is Titanic df.info and .describe. Okay, so we know that describe and info what kind of these things work. So it gives the whole description of the dataset. So we have all the columns over here, and we have data types, integer, object, float. Okay, and 83.7 plus KB. What are the size, memory uses, everything. Okay, so this is the description. So count, mean, standard deviation, and 25% percentiles, 50% percentile. Okay, so these are all our things which I have already discussed in our previous lessons. So I'm just going through one by one. Okay, and we know how to check null values. Okay, so df dot is null dot sum. So here we can see here the age has 177 rows as a null values, and cabin has a 687 null values. Okay, so now we can handle our machine values. We have learned the fill any function over here, right? So what we have done, so Titanic data frame df and the age column. Okay, fill any is my function name, and what I am filling with it, I am filling with the median of the age. Okay, so whatever median of the age I am getting from my data frame, I will replace all the rows, all the missing values from the age column with its median. Okay, and I have mentioned in place equals to true that we have already discussed. So it will reflect in our data frame itself. Similarly, for embarked column, I have used mode. Okay, so mode is basically the number of most frequent values. Okay, so embarked is basically categorical data. Okay, so we have seen here. So it is SC, something like that. Okay, and different values. If you want to see what different unique values are here, we can check with dot n unique values. Okay, dot unique values and n unique values. Okay, you can do that. I'm not gonna do it right now because we have already discussed that point. Now I have replaced with mode now, and I have dropped here the cabin value, the cabin column. That's because in the cabin column, we have too many missing values. Okay. So out of, let's say, 800 approximately, there is 687 null values. So it's not meaningful to cover all the null values over here with mean or with median, something like that. Okay. So it's better if there is 80%, 90% out of data, which is null. Okay, so is it not meaningful that out of 200 data we can cover all the 600 data? Okay, so it's better to be replaced, to be removed. Okay, so drop kb. Okay, now we can verify titanium data dot is null. That's sum. Okay, so let's say now there is no null value in our any column. So now our data is ready for visualization. Okay, so here I have mentioned different functions. So these all functions I have already discussed in our previous classes. Okay, so what you gonna do is after the session, whenever you get time, you can go through all these functions through this data frame. Okay, try to apply all these function, index, column, data type, whatever I have discussed already. Just try to practice these all functions within this data set. Okay, so that you can have a good practice on that. Already we have done with our dummy data set. Okay, now we know what the meaning of and what how does this work. Now it's time to practice in a real data set over. Okay, so just practice these things. Okay, I'm not going to discuss it right now. So today's agenda is basically I'm going through and data visualization that I have told you in the last session regarding Seaborn and Matplotlib. Okay, so those things we're gonna discuss in the Titanic dataset. Okay, so SNS, I have told you what is SNS. SNS we have imported from here. Import Seaborn as a name with SNS. We're gonna use name SNS. Okay, so here the first thing what I am doing is I am setting my style of the graphs. Okay, so whatever graphs you want to set, you can set. Okay, so we can see like here you can click over here and click tab and shift and tab at the same time. Okay, shift and tab at the same time, then you can see the signature of this function. Now here you can see herein you can see the style. We can see the dark grid, white grid, dark white text. Okay, so whatever the style you want to set, you can set. Okay, I have mentioned white grid over there. Okay, so white grid is something like this, my graph. Okay, so it's your choice what you can test it with. Now the first thing I have done is visualization distribution of numerical feature such as age and fear. So I want to check a distribution of the age and fear. Okay, so for here, PLT is my matplotlib. Okay, so PLT dot figure. I am setting my figure size. I have discussed this in the last class also. Okay, so 12 cross 5 size. Okay, so I have mentioned the figure size of my graph. Okay, now I am saying I am plotting basically a subplot. So subplot basically means within a one plot, I can make different plots. You can do these two plot in different graphs as well, but I'm mentioning here to a subplot. Now, how this subplot works is basically the first thing saying 1, and second is saying 2, and third is saying 1. So first is basically my rows. Okay, so I'm saying 1 row, okay, and 2 column. Okay, and this is my first graph. So it means that it represents this part. Okay, so 1 column, 2 rows, sorry, 1 rows, 2 column, and first graph. Okay, so I have this denotation. Okay, so 1 row, 2 column. Okay, in this way. Now in 1 row, 2 column, I have splitted my data, and the first graph is this one, histoplot. Okay, so in the histoplot I have mentioned Titanic DF is. Okay, so age I have given here and trying to check a distribution of the age. Now KDE row means the you see the line over here, the graph line over here over the distribution. So if you give false or you don't pass anything, then this graph will not mention over here. Okay, if you pass KD equals to true, you can see the graphs. Okay, it's only that meaning. And bins equals 30 means I have mentioned that 30 boxes over here. Okay, so you can pass 20 bins, 30 bins, 50 bins, whatever you want. And PLD to title, again the title of my graph is distribution of age. Now similarly here also I'm doing same things with fare column. Okay, now let's execute this one. Now you can see distribution of A's. Okay, now this is the distribution of A's. It means what does this graph is showing us? Okay, it's meaning the A's. So you can see this graph from here to here. So from 20 to let's say 50, there are the peak number of A's. So within our passenger, okay, in the Titanic dataset, we have more number of A's which is coming between 20 to 50. So there are many passengers who are A's between 20 to 50 and other are less. Okay, so between 60 to 80, see there is a small graphs only. Okay, and 0 to 20, 0 to 20 is so less. Okay, so this kind of insights we are getting from our data set. Now similarly for distribution of fare, you can see here that the fare is like less than 200. There are many fare which is less than 200,000 k, 2000 k, 200 k. Okay, and more than 200 k, you can see it's so less. Okay, so you cannot see directly from the data set here. We have to check many things. Okay, you have to go through. You cannot go through all the 1,000 columns or 1,000 rows. So in that case, we need to get insights from our graph itself. Okay, so we are plotting this. Now another thing is correlation matrix. Okay, this thing I have mentioned in last class also. So in correlation matrix, what does it do is basically, so let's say I have one column. Okay, so let's say I have passenger ID and fare. So how does the passenger ID and fare is correlated to each other? Is saying something like that. Okay, so let's say as the let's say fare or survive. Okay, so fare versus survived. So I can say that the let's say passenger who has high class ticket. Okay, let's say fare is 300k. Okay, so 300k is the fare and it's a high class ticket of class B, of first class ticket, and the passenger who are from that class has survived a lot. Okay, so many passenger from that class has survived a lot. It means there is a relation between my survival versus fare. Okay, so those who have better class and better fare price ticket seats, then those passengers are more chance to be of survival rate. Okay, so this is kind of relation between two columns, how they are related to each other, so we can get some insights. Okay, so we can see here if the correlation between two columns is high, then the number is high. Okay, so let's say the correlation between survival and fare is 0.26. Okay, and you can see 0.26 is coming over this range, so it is pretty much high range. Okay, so if it is 1, it means both column are same. Okay, so see here, survived versus survived, both are same. Okay, because survive and survive is fully correlated to each other because it's the column itself now, that's why there is a 1. Okay, but for others, let's say this 0.41, so it means the parch column and the SIB SP column is so much correlated, means 0.41 relation between them. So means they have, if there is something change in their column value, then they can be affected. Okay, so in the mathematical concept I will explain you in the machine learning classes. So there is a proper the formula to find the correlation matrix. Okay, so and how it related, we'll discuss more about it. I just want to give you a basic idea of correlation. Okay, so just we use the heat map over here. Okay, and Titanic data frame df dot corr, this is the correlation function we need to use, and other is nothing, just other variable. So cmap line column, something like that. Okay, so we can see over here correlate matrix. Now next I want to discuss is about so see there are many kind of visualization we can do, it's up to you. Okay, so in the industry what happen is basically, so let's say you are working in a company and you want to do some visualization. So there is two ways. So first way is like your manager or client, someone give you some task. Okay, they want some insights, particular insights. Let's say they want to see how many passengers are from this class or how many passengers are from this class and how is the survival rate, something like that. And if they have some specific requirement, so you will work on that specific requirement and try to visualize and send this to your client. Okay, but let's say the client has doesn't have any kind of specific requirement. Okay, and they are saying no, just I have a data and just give me insights and just give me visualization what kind of things do I this data has. So in that case you have to study the data, you have to um, talk with your client and understand the case study and understand the all the columns of data, what does this means. Okay, and on top of that you have to put your brain. Okay, you have to brainstorm hard way. Okay, so that you can see, let's say you want to create pie chart or you want to create bar graph, what kind of things you can do. Okay, you have to figure it out yourself, so that you need to practice. Okay, so you need to practice on different data set. So let's say I am doing some, I am explaining you this kind of data set right here. Okay, and some of the plots. It's not that this is the only solution we have. Some other guy will think in different way and they can get some more insights. Okay, so it's up to you. So you have to study the data set, what data set is about, and what kind of insights and what kind of visualization you can create by your own ideas. Okay, so that's the basic idea behind the visualization. Okay, so there every guy has every different visualization part. Okay, so this is my idea that I am showing you. Okay, so let's say I am plotting over here. So similarly I am plotting this time three subplots. Okay, so one row. Okay, three columns. See, this is the one row and three columns. Okay, now the first one is bar plot between sex and survived. Okay, so I am getting the survival rate by sex. Okay, so male or female, who has survived more. Okay, similarly second is P class versus survived. Okay, so I'm getting the survival rate by class. Okay, so which class has the more survival rate? So class P class means the passenger class, means it means in first class, second class, third class, something like that. Okay, and third is embarked and survived. Okay, so survival rate by embarked. Embarked here is nothing, is just from is the passenger from some specific place or some specific location. Okay, so let's see here. So the first graph we have shown the sex versus survived. So you can see male passenger has survived so less than female. Okay, so here the female wins. So female has survived a lot than the male. And here according to P class, so we have class 1, 2, 3. So you can see the first class passenger, the first class ticket passenger has survived a lot as compared to second and third. Okay, because maybe some of the security reason or something like that, we don't know, but we can just give you us insights. And for embarked, so C category has more survival rate. Okay, so it's very simple, you don't need anything, you just need to have a data set, you have to provide a data set and just pass the X and Y coordinates. That's it, everything is done by this bar plot itself. Just pass this and you will see the result, and just the title you can give. And if you don't want, if you are very confused with subplot, okay, don't go with it, just remove it and just run these two line codes separately, you will get a separate graph. Okay, but if you want to make a 3 or 4 different graphs within a one visualization, then you can use this subplot. Okay, you can just try this with, you can use 2 rows 3 column, that also. Okay, so you can practice that way. Now the next I'm going to discuss is again the distribution. So this distribution is for survive. Okay, so let's see here what I have done. So here I have sliced our data. Okay, so we have already discussed how to slice data. Okay, so Titanic data frame survived equals to 1. It means the data from my data frame whose survived column is the value has 1. Okay, and on top of that I'm fetching only the age part. Okay, so I need from my Titanic dataset a specific column survived, and the survived column should have value 1 only. And after that, I will slicing the age. Okay, so I'm slicing the age only. Okay, so from that dataset, I'm getting the only age. So age of the survived persons. Okay, I'm getting from that. Now I'm passing this as a data frame in my hist plot. Okay, Now again, KD equals to true. I have mentioned that this line is the KD means, color, and label survive. It's simple. Similarly here for 0 means who have not survived at all. Okay, so label as a did not survive. So it's nothing, fancy or nothing so much hard is in this. You just need to understand one by one. It's just calling a function only. You not need anything. So that's why this pandas and Matplotlib, Seaborn is so much powerful about that. So you just need to pass the things only. You need to think what you need to visualize, okay, and you need to figure out which graph is it, story histograph, histplot or bar plot, what kind of graph it is, and just collect the data and just throw that data in that function. That's it, your work is done. Okay, similarly for fair also. Now let's see here. So yeah, yes, we can see survived as a label, did not survive as a one label. Okay, and this histograph. Okay, so you can see did not survive has a more larger graph than survived here by the age. So age between 20 to 50, and similarly for fair also. So fair who has let's say from 80 to, let's say from more than 80 has survived a lot. So those who has fair price less than 80, they have not survived. You can see from red and green color. Okay, something like this data we can get some insights. Okay, this is one thing. Another thing I have discussed in the last class is pair plot also. So pair plot is nothing, it's again the relation between two columns. Okay, so I have mentioned whatever the variables are here: a is fair and p class. See, a is fair and p class. So whatever columns you want to compare with each other, okay, not compare, basically it actually a relation between graphs, sorry, not graphs, the columns. Okay, so whatever relation you want between columns, you can pass over here. So I passed a sphere and p class columns. Okay, now I am saying u equals to survived. What is u? U equals to survived means this thing. See, survived 0 or 1. So it will categorize your survived and not survived data, so you can get an insight, because at the end we are just analyzing how people are surviving and what people are not surviving, and how the different columns are impacting our survival rates. Okay, so that's a Titanic data set. Now palette equals to cool warm, whatever you want you can use. You can do shift tab and check the other columns, other palette also. So I am giving subtitle pair plot fair, just like these things. Okay, now let's see here what we're getting. So between A's and fair, we can see scatter plot, A's and A's again and again, fair with P class, fair with A's. Okay, so how is scattering, how it is increasing or decreasing. Okay, it's like this. Okay, so it's pretty much simple. And another thing is, again I have separately plot one scatter plot, okay, between A's and fair. Okay, so you see here, so between A's and fair, so you can see the A's between, see, from 20 to 40. Okay, you can see from 20 to 40 there are more, blue dots over here, dense blue dot over here. 20 to 40, it means for 20 to 40 A's you have what price of fair? It's less than 100. Okay, so approximately 20 to 40. Okay, so 20 to 40 range is between the A's and fair. So A's, people whose age is between 20 to 50, so we have more denser you get scatter plot or dots of blue dots over it. It means the people between 20 to 40 age has ticket price near to 2030. Okay, more right. Okay, because we have more dense that survived level over here. Okay, so we can see like this. Okay, now I think that's clear. Now, yeah, now I have also mentioned one more thing, group by, in our data analyst class in pandas basically. So if you remember what group by do, it group the our column with some specific functions, means to say with average or sum or anything. Okay, so here you can see I am doing group by P class. Okay, I'm doing group by P class. Okay, and with what? With age and with mean. Okay, so I'm checking here. See, average age of passenger in each class. Okay, so average age. So I'm getting average age from here and the group by passenger class. That's a simple thing. Okay, now I'm using this reset index. That's because when we do reset index, then this average, this variable will become data frame itself. Okay, so it's nothing doing. I'm nothing doing. No, I'm nothing trying to reset index. Don't confuse with that. The reset index I have um, mentioned you there. Okay, so reset index is we have seen already in that class, but it's not about that. This reset index is for converting this data frame into directly, because if I try to execute this line, let's see, if I try to execute this line, I will get the P class 1 2 2 1 2 3 and the average mean. Okay, so mean of the is, okay, so P class has average of 36. Okay, so P class has average age of 36. So it mean to say that the first class ticket in the first class category, the average age of the people is 36. Okay, for second class, the average age of the people is 29. Similarly for third class. Okay, now I am trying to plot that only in a bar plot and simple. So I pass x equals to P class, y equals to age, data equals to this data that I have getting from group by. Okay, now see, I can analyze. So P class has average age of 35, 36, and again second class, something like that. Okay, see, this data is visualized in this graph. Okay, so when you give this to the client, you cannot give like this code directly, or you can just give the dataset like this, P class 1 2 3, just giving the group by. No, you have to convert this into data visualization, right? You have to convert it to graphs. Okay, so in that way we can convert, and you can download this image and you can create in the report, you can paste in the report, something like that you can do. Okay, now second is count of passenger who survived versus did not survived. Okay, it's pretty much simple. So I have used count plot. So there are basically plenty of plots you can check in the official site of Seaborn. Okay, official site of sorry. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. Now you can check in the Seaborn and Matplotlib, official site. You can go like here, Seaborn. Okay, you can check like Seabor Seaborn. Okay, you can see the Seaborn here. Yeah, and you can check plenty of visualization. Okay, how to install tutorial, whatever things. There are plenty of things. Okay, so nobody can compare. Nobody can complete all the functions, but these are the most important things we need to discuss. Okay. So again, count plot, and it will count the survived 0 or 1. Okay, so it's like this. So but you need to practice a lot. Okay, so you need to practice so that you can get insights, and you will. So let's say you have practiced in 2 3 different data sets, you are practicing regularly, and if somebody needs something visualization, and in, let's say, in the interview they asked you that these are the requirements and what we, then you will get to know, okay, I have these kind of plots, histogram plot, bar plot. Okay, so you can say we can use bar plot, because if you don't know, then you cannot answer the question, right? So it's something like that. You have to practice these things. Okay, now another thing is Titanic survival rate by class. Okay, so again, this function group by. So this group by I have mentioned few things because many people get confused with the group by, but I have discuss these things here only. Okay, I have discussed everything within this class. Okay, you can check on if you are having problem with group by, then you can check my previous recordings in the data frame, okay, in Panda data frame. So you can find the other proper group by class. Okay, so you will get inside. So because in there I have mentioned the small data set, okay, small data set, dummy data set, and trying to explain everything in a deeper concept here. Here I am just, so this session is all about whatever we have already discussed in our previous data frame, in our data set and classes. So we're trying to apply all those functions in this, okay, and after that you will practice this this Python notebook, and then I will send you a mail for new dataset, and you will work on that dataset. Okay, you will try to work on dataset, and I will provide a solution of the dataset, and you can compare how you have visualized and how I have visualized. Okay, so in that case we can merge the both visualization and practice, and then we can wrap up with our data science, this session, and then we'll start our machine learning classes. Okay, so that's the basic idea behind this class. Okay, so again you can see over here, again I have group by the now. Oh, it's the same one. Okay, so I think it's repeated, so it's the same thing. These are the same thing. Okay, now again one more graph is pie chart. Okay, it's pretty much very good graph, we have to check it out. So basically I have done the value counts. Okay, so again value counts we have discussed, it will give the what are the total number of survive. For survival we have 0 and 1, and okay, so how many value of 0 we have, how many value of 1 we have. It's pretty much simple. Okay, now again just call plt.py, and we pass the survive data. This data I have assigned in the survive column, survived variable, and the label will be survived or not survived. See here, not survived. And auto PCT is basically auto percentage kind of thing. So it will create automatically the percentage between these two, survive and not survive. Okay, though different value counts. So let's say you have 5 value count, then between 5 it will create automatically percentage. So this is the syntax basically. Percentage dot 2f means between two floating point value. So I have mentioned 60.62, right? So I have mentioned 2f, so it will give you two floating point variable. Okay, again axis and title, nothing more. Okay, now see here, 61.62% has survival rate. Oh, sorry, not survived, and 38.38% has survived out of total survival rate. Okay, so yeah, you can see, you can just convert these insights. See how beautiful it is, because if you want to check, you have to go into all the data set and try to do things, and try to find out the number of values, and then again you have to divide by total number of survival, divide by total number of passenger, and try to find the percentage. See what things you have to do by on your own if you want to do these things. But this library is like awesome. So this thing. So the beautiful pie chart is given. Now just download this, copy this, and paste in your report, and you can create the beautiful report for your client or for your requirements, anything you can do. So yeah, it's something like that. And again you can create double graph within a one plot using subplot. So I have used over here. So see, so these requirements you have to think by on your own. Okay, either you have to think of your own, or else somebody other have some requirement, or you have to code. Okay, there are only two way. Okay, so let's say you are saying I want all the male person who have survived value count. Okay, so all the male guys who has survived, and similarly here all the female who have survived. So let's see the pie chart. Okay, what is the percentage survival rate between male and female? Okay, so see here, for male survival we have 18%, 18.9 percentage of survival rate, and 81.1 are not survived. But you can see for female 25% is 25.8 has survived. So it means that we can compare that female has survived a lot. Okay, so a lot of female have been survived in the Titanic accident, right? So these kind of insights we can get. Okay, so and within 4 to 5 line of code, nothing more. Okay, now another thing I have mentioned is like, yeah, and the index location I have discussed a lot. I have given the whole one class for index location, I think so. Okay, because it's more important, because the more the requirement or more the condition you have to put all the condition in the where condition, just like in a we do in the SQL, right? So we have to do index location. So here what I have done is I am fetching all the passenger with maximum fare. Okay, so just doing .ilog np dot where Titanic data frame equals to fare equals to, and this will give me the maximum fare. So I'm saying equal to maximum of fare. Okay, so those were so those columns and those rows and columns whose fare is the maximum. Okay, that data will be fetched out. So out of whole data set, my maximum fare is 512.3292. So all the fare, all the columns which has this fare will pop out. Simple. Okay, it's not much. And this thing I have already discussed. Okay, so I will not go through into deep dive index location, how this works. You can go through our session if you have any doubt with this. Again, similarly, index location, I have mentioned the condition embarked equal to C. So passenger who embarked from Cherbourg. So Cherbourg is a place. Okay, so embarked is a kind of place. C has a different kind of, you can Google it, but we don't need to find what these things are, but still. Now you can see here, Cherbourg.head. So these are the all the uh, people who are from embarked C. And similarly, let's say I need to fetch passenger class, okay, which are from third class who did not survive. Okay, so again, simple index location np.where provide the one first condition, p class equals to 3, second condition, survived equals to 0, because survived equal to 0 means that person has not survived. Okay, so see, these are the passengers whose ticket class is third class and who have not survived. Okay, so you can see the name and all the details. Similarly here, max Stratton. Okay, nothing new. Again, group by. I am going group by p class, sex, and group by the mean of A's. Okay, so I'm getting these kind of things. P class, so first class ticket passenger and who are female or male, and average age. Okay, so for first class, for female, 34 is the average age. Okay, and for first class, for female passenger, 41 is the average age of female of male. Okay, so it mean to say that the average age of male for first class ticket is more than female, something like that. Okay, so just so here you can see the insights is getting from the group by code, and then we can put it into a visualization part. Okay, so different insights what you want, you can check whatever as per your requirement. Okay, and similarly here also I am getting the aggregation of mean, maximum, mean. You can provide 2 or 3 different aggregation function also. Either you can dot mean or dot mean or dot max 2 or 3 times, or you can just pass the list of functions you can. So you can see the list of mean, minimum, max. Okay, like that. Now, yeah. Now let's say I want to plot this thing. Okay, so we have already done the group by in average by class gender. See here, these things, let's say this thing I have to convert to graph. Okay, I have to convert into visualization. So how will do that? So I will just a point plot. Okay, so this is our point plot. Pass the column values and pass the data. This is our data I have fetched using not group by. Just pass it and give the label and title and just run it. Okay, now you see average age by passenger class. Now use this graph anywhere you want with the visualization. Okay, so you can see for first class this point is 35, second class this point is around 28, for third class, for female. Again, for orange color, it's male. Okay, for female, it's blue color and the point. See how it's work. Okay, and again similarly group by. So I have mentioned like at least 7 to 8 group by things. Okay, so you can have practice. Okay, so you can get the idea. Okay, so that's why I have mentioned a lot of group by over here. So if you go through this whole, data set and this Python notebook, then you will get to know many things. Okay, and you can practice by taking this reference to the new data set that I will provide you in a mail. Okay, similarly, another is bar plot. So passenger count by port survival, and where I'm getting this from, this data have already sliced from group by, right? And I'm using this particular data set to visualize. That's it. Okay, so yeah, this is all about the visualization, and there is much more to be covered. It's all depends on you. How do you practice? How do you do things? Okay, you can just go to the Kaggle dataset. Okay, you can just go to the Kaggle dataset, and you can just find the just do the data analysis. You can type the data analysis. Okay, data analysis using Python like this. So we can see data center for beginners. Many you can see many notebooks. Let's say I want to check. Let's say this. Let's say same Titanic. Okay, EDA. We you know what EDA is? Exploratory data analysis. Okay, we have mentioned that also. So let's say this guy has 374 votes. So let's see what he has done. See, he has imported. Okay, and he has the see he has done the many plottings over here. Okay, so different people has different, you know, kind of plottings. So see the bar chart, things that he has mentioned. So you can see many things over here. Box plot. Okay, so yeah, something like that. You can just try to search over here. Okay, and replicate the same thing in your data. Okay, and in that way you can learn it more. So yeah, I think I will wrap up today's session, and just try to practice it. And for tomorrow, I think tomorrow we'll not have a class. That's because you'll I think there is nothing more to cover up now. All the topics, the important topics, I have already covered so far. Now it's time to practice. So just practice this data set and do your own, brainstorm and what kind of things you can get insights. Okay, or if you need help, then just go to Google directly. Okay, just type the Titanic dataset and visualization. Okay, you will get many things from there, and try to get insights and try to replicate the same thing with your libraries and your brainstorming, and go through all the functions that I have mentioned you, so you can get a syntax value. Okay, so you can get a practice. Yeah, and then after that I will send you a mail for with new dataset, and you can practice on that dataset. So and then we are good to go with our class. And then next session on Saturday only, then we'll discuss things and we'll proceed how to what's our next agenda will be regarding machine learning. Okay, so practice this week, whole week. Okay, yeah. So I'll see you on next week, guys. Thank you very much for joining. Have a good night.